going on, everybody? This is Slick from Breaking the Clutch, back again with another Halo Wars 2 video. Today I have an awesome 2v2 gameplay for you guys. It's been a while since I've done some genuine old commentary. This gameplay will be featuring the Cutter Infantry Sniper opener I did upload on the channel earlier this week. Hope you guys are excited. This is Uncut. Myself, Uncut is a BtC Discord moderator, good friend of mine, and great Halo Wars 2 player. He is going to be running Serena. And we're playing against two guys who are running Anders and Kinsano. So we're going to see all of these leaders are most certainly viable in the current meta. Anders is probably the weakest out of this whole bunch. But you know, we're going to have to see how this game ties out. And I'm going to be talking about everything I do play by play throughout its entirety. Okay, so as you guys know, what I do in this build is I open with a generator first and essentially go into a quick double barracks, so that way I can go into snipers or double hellbringers, whatever I want to do in order to push an enemy base. I also do consider grabbing a second base pretty early on in the game, depending on how well the build does play out and how well we look in terms of map control. Of course, with Serena and her ice cream truck, Uncut Precision will be able to provide a lot of great support in the early game engagements, and Stall is our middle name. So in this certain scenario, what I'll be doing here is getting raid, of course, to make my infantry units super fast and see, basically, just like I said, rush the center of the map, grab power nodes if possible, and just take over as much as possible before they begin their initial rush, if any. So what I want to do is essentially, in this point in the game, like I said, grab all the power and all that, and just focus on my build. So that's exactly what I'm doing here. I'm going to upgrade my supply pad the second I have the power as well. So that way I have an upgraded generator, upgraded supply pad right off the bat, and then I'm going right into supply pad third here on my main base, and then I'm going to grab a mini base. So on this map, you have to be particularly careful in 3v3s because, of course, there are only 2 mini base slots on each side of the map for each team. But in this certain scenario, what I can easily do is at least get 1 mini base. I usually go for 2, sometimes even 3 if I can with Cutter, because of the infantry spam is just absolutely glorious. But in this certain scenario, we're just going to be using 1 mini base to kind of prove the example. So here I am now setting up all of my Marines in the middle of the map near the power. I always have 1 grab, 1 to support, just in case they decide to send, say, an enemy scout unit or something. Of course, Ryan is wonderful. He is sending his jackrabbit. Oh, he picks that one-shot Marine. Will he get out of there alive? Yes, he will. And of course, what he just saw there at Blue's base is extremely viable. It's going to give us a little bit of information on what the hell we're supposed to do. So what I do with this build whenever I'm playing against WNSC is I do opt for snipers first. In the current Marine style of the meta, where that's all you see every game, it's good to have snipers on deck ready to go before your first engagements. That way you can have those snipers kind of assist you in any certain scenario if possible. Or if need be, I should say. So I'm immediately going to grab this power node. I'm going to try to get at least 2 power nodes before I get aggressive, because my build is a lot quicker than Ryan's, just because I'm Cutter, my infantry's quicker, and yeah, that's essentially it, period. Ryan's also opting in to get the ice cream truck, which means he's going to be spending a lot of supply and power on 1 single unit, which also means that it takes a little bit longer for him to get out across the map, whereas it takes me mere minutes. Like right now I could be pushing at 2 minutes 32. Of course, at this point in the game, I'm not going to do that because I want to make sure that I have Ryan's support. Seeing that right off there in the beginning, Blue did have 3 Marine squads as well. You know, you got to be careful and keep that in mind. Oh, geez, he might be going for an infantry style of opener, so I need to be able to, you know, have an army to support that as well. Of course, Ryan, if you're looking at the minimap right now, Uncut Precision is moving across the map with a jackrabbit again to get the scout on light blue. If you're wondering what the ideal scout time is, guys, I always like to preach to everybody, scout around 3 minutes, 30 seconds to around the 4-minute mark, because you can usually see all buildings on an enemy base in completion or under construction. So that way you just kind of have like a little milestone to yourself, like, okay, I know where to push and all that. Of course, this is exactly what I mean. At 3 minutes 13, I have, what is this, 6 Marines and 1 sniper. I probably have more snipers, honestly. I think I have more units, right? Yeah, I got 1 sniper moving across the map, 1 at the front door of the base, and I do see a turret, and that makes me think, you know what, I can push this. If he's only got 1 turret, I might as well try to poke and prod. I'm going to make sure to pull my snipers back as much as possible here, so that way they do not get in any hairy situations and get absolutely melted. This also, if you're looking, my power is stacking up here. I think my biggest reason for that is I'm trying to either make snipers if possible or tech up very quickly. Of course, right there, I did spend all my power on a grenade, so that makes me believe that, you know what, in this certain scenario, I'm thinking, you know what, I'm going to get as aggressive as possible. I'm going to commit my entire army into this push and get grenade right as kind of like the cherry on top. Of course, I am able to drop that turret the second it finishes, which is great for me, meaning that he did sacrifice a lot of supply. Was it 300 supply in order to just kind of take up a dead slot on his base? So I'm just going to continue this attack as much as possible. Grenades came up right as this turret is nearing completion as well, which means my timing on my upgrade was nearly flawless. I got a second base on the way, and I have all of these units spread out all across the map. I even have uncut precision moving across the map with the ice cream truck and a couple marines as well. So at this point in the game, I'm thinking to myself, you know what, I definitely need to get that Tech 2 quicker. Like, it's great that I have this extra base, but I mean, if I'm not Tech 2, I'm basically useless as Cutter. So what I'm going to try to do here is just, once again, just continue my attack, get Tech 2 quicker with more power, and then at the same time try to save my army. Yeah, exactly this. So uncut precision is just now showing up, so it's no longer a 1-on-2 situation. It's going to be a 2v2. But looking at the army at hand here, that Consano Flame Wall can honestly kill all of our infantry units. So we decided to back up and play it a little safe. Throwing some supply pads down on my expansion to make sure that I get some solid income for supplies as well. Cutter has a lot of supply-heavy units, except for the exception, I want to say, I'd say one of the most supply-sucking units. Condor and Wolverines are probably the worst. Cyclops being the third worst, I'd say, in the eyes of a Cutter player for mid-game. That's definitely something I want to do, is make sure I have more supply than power income. Ryan and I, once again, making sure we maintain map control. Ryan, of course, getting cheeky as hell, deciding to opt in for an aggressive expo there on blue side. Of course, we do have the army to defend this. Luckily, since both blue players were going for a turret hero kind of defense, that means that they don't have much to push out with in attack. Having turrets on your base is great for that defense, man, but the second you can't defend it, what the hell's the point? You know? I'm sorry, the second you can't be on the offense, I'm sorry. What the hell's the point? You essentially just commit all of your power and supply into something that's stationary, and then you're essentially turtling for probably the first 8 minutes of the game. So what I'm going to do here is just once again poke and prod on light blue. I want to see if he opted for any turrets. Of course, pulling my snipers back just to abuse sniping as much as possible. I am actually going to push on this because I do see that light blue's army did move out, and I know that marine nades can actually drop one of these turrets very quickly. 10 marines is the magic number for that. I also do have enough for ODST drops. I'm actually going to drop in ODSTs here on the base, trying to hit the base a little bit with the ODSTs as well, because ODST charges can drop turrets and generators. Because if you put it in the right spot, you can do a lot of damage to both the generators. Yeah, that one's going to hit the generator and the turret. And then, of course, you do... Yeah, look at that. Man, that's going to be a great big hit on that generator as well. I'm going to go right as I need it to. So I'm going to opt in for Warthogs after this, and my reason being is because, you know, all I saw was infantry units, and I need really fast aggression at the moment. And Warthogs are going to supply just that for me. Once again, I did misclick there with my snipes, so I'm going to have to make sure I move them into a proper position. At the same time, I am spotting a supply pad and a turret coming up in the back of light blue's base. Ryan, at the same time, has lost his aggressive expansion. Don't know if that was the best play for us, but look at this. This is a great move here from blue, but at the same time, I'm going to capitalize. He started setting up some Kodiaks to do some serious damage to my army as they're all grouped up, but all I'm going to do is make him... I'm essentially going to punish him for this commitment. I did lose my snipers there, which is a huge joke. I'm essentially going to make him lose all of this money here by just pushing up on these things, killing them. If you do get on top of Kodiaks, guys, keep in mind they cannot shoot you if you're within that, say, I don't know, 3 Halo Wars feet distance, you know what I'm saying? So once I kill both those Kodiaks, I'm going to try to make the most of these infantry units because they are way too overstepped. There are too many Kodiaks that are coming out here. I'm going to try to take out this mini base before I lose my infantry army here. Another thing I recommend in this situation, whenever you're dealing with siege units, yep, I'm doing it right now, is to start spreading out your units as best as possible, using the paint tool, making sure you get a complete spread on all these things. I'm still using all the mines, and I've just been pumping Warthogs this whole time. But one thing I want to note, I'm at 1,000 power right now, and I have not paid attention to my expansion. That's definitely a choke. Something I could be doing, even though I'm definitely over-focused on this whole push here. One thing I should have done is upgraded my expansion and then gotten prepared for the late game or mid-game pushes. As you're going to see here, I'm also sitting on another leader power. There we go. I'm going to upgrade that as well. Excellent. What I need to do right now is actually just spend that power on an upgrade. Okay, I'm going to spend it. Yeah, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to upgrade that base and get prepared for that late game. I need a little bit more production. My favorite late game cutter play is having 4 upgraded generators, all supply pads, essentially for everything else I don't mention, 2 garages, 2 air pads, and a barracks. That's one of my favorite late game cutter plays. Of course, if you do run into a vehicle-heavy army, you are looking not as good, but usually, generally speaking, Vultures do a number on ground vehicles, except for Wolverines. If you need to, you can always buy a mini base and then throw another barracks up so that way you can defend against a giant vehicle push by double pumping Cyclops. Cutter also has a Cyclops drop, which is extremely effective in these scenarios as well. As we see here, a nice sizable army here moving out from light blue, but keep in mind, this is an entirely infantry army. All it takes for me is essentially a call out to uncut precision, and then he's dropping a slew of cryo barriers and freezing his entire army and trapping them at the same time, kind of putting them in this awkward frozen sandwich of sorts where I just kind of walk in and capitalize, ram everything. All we need to do at this point is make sure that we still maintain our side of the map control. Ryan, once again, with another aggressive expansion on the top right. Didn't even notice that. If you look in the minimap, you do see a yellow base on the far side. That most certainly is going to be helpful. Here I am looking away for a second, and all of these blue units are one shot. Great leader power there from Kinsano will cause all of his units that die to explode, doing a serious number on my Warthog army. But of course, I do have various drops at my disposal. I'm actually going to start dropping them in on all these one-shot units, essentially killing them on impact. Then I'm going to drop in a heal here so that way I can just stay on top of these units and get aggressive. Of course, what was the biggest issue here with this push from blue? Where was dark blue in the support? That's the problem with going all these Kodiaks. If you don't get slightly aggressive with the Kodiaks at any point throughout their creation, you're really sitting there like literally a sitting duck, because you're just waiting around saying, what the hell am I going to do? Should I help my teammate? All you do is this dark blue player has 12 Kodiaks set up at his base, and all he's doing is watching his light blue teammate lose every single unit in a worthless engagement where he's going to lose his entire army. So this is a huge overstepping problem here for light blue. I've yet to see any supporting units from dark blue. Of course, what is that? Jeez, I sacked the garage, throw up another garage. There's the second barracks. As just like I said, if you're running into, say, maybe a double, like say a vehicle heavy army, or an infantry heavy army, you can opt in for a double barracks instead of a double garage, double air pad. But honestly, like I said, as soon as it gets past that 10-minute mark, like it is right now, there's just something so special about having, say, like a Nightingale Vulture combination that is so deadly against ground vehicles at this point in the meta. Of course, Ryan's starting to do exactly what I was saying earlier, where he's going to be aggressive with his Kodiaks to the point where he's not overstepping, but he is shelling enemies from afar. It's going to put us in a great vantage point, not only that, but also at the same time, definitely doing a lot of DPS to those grouped up infantry units, something I really love to see from Ryan. He's most certainly doing the best case scenario. I'm going to start throwing in a couple Wolverines because I did see a Sentinel there coming out of the Anders Dark Blue player. That is also the reason why she is being so conservative with her Kodiaks, because she also has Sentinel Beacon, which means every siege shot that hits the ground, you get 2 Sentinels. They fly around for, I believe, 5 seconds, which is most certainly, it's crazy. It's a crazy long time. It's just enough time for another shot to come off from a Kodiak, I believe. Spending my economy-wise right now, I'm doing a phenomenal job just getting rid of all of my income. A big issue was, say, when I was sitting on that big throne of power not too long ago, maybe about 2 minutes ago, 2,700 power. I did spend all of it. But at the same time, you know, the longer I have it stacked up, the slower it is for me to get my leader powers. So kind of a no-no there. I'm going to start dropping in Cyclops every now and again to do some serious damage to these units when I need to. Cutter has some of the best options for, say, playability. Just because what he can do is he can honestly opt in for a complete army, have a nice composition, charge an enemy base, lose everything, and then all he has to do is just drop in everything that he's got. The Cutter drop, the Cyclops drop, and then the ODST drop, and that's it. You know, you have an entire army again at your disposal, and you're ready to go. All the Sentinels there that did push did die. All you need is about 3 to 4 Wolverines in this case, just because Sentinels are made out of paper mache and balsa wood. So no problem there. I did get a 3rd expansion. I also told Ryan about it. That's what you saw there from the cute little ping. I like to brag, and my eco is doing awesome, and I suspect that in the post-game stats tabs after the game, I bet you I will have the best supply advantage just from looking at this build right now. I'm just getting ready. This is like something out of StarCraft where you triple base and you get your natural, then you get your second natural expansion. You're just ready to go. So Ryan here is getting aggressive. He's getting antsy with all of his Kodiaks. Arc Defense are called in by the Anders. Of course, I did also get Combat Tech on a couple Marines, so that's going to help. But at the same time, you know, a couple Wolverines and Combat Tech Marines will most certainly take care of any business there. I'm also getting ready to set up a solid defense on that expansion, so that way we know if anyone's pushing. Just a pro tip on this map, whoever is closest to, in 2v2s in particular, whoever's closest to the teleporter should always get a watchtower or a double watchtower, because that person will be able to see the teleporters from the side, which is a very, very essential thing on this map. You never know. I've won many, many games from players who had bad vision on teleporters, and all I did is warp in a squad of locusts with Shipmaster, teleport them across the map, whatever I need to do, drop a base, and then extract back to my main. Just something to keep in mind on this map. So far, so good on our end. The only thing I wish we had was that base on the far right. The only reason we don't is because Ryan was getting super antsy with his aggressive expansion. So What now we're doing is just kind of getting ready to set up an attack onto Blue's expansion here. We know that Blue's been sitting pretty for the last, I don't know, probably the last 10 minutes of the game. So we need to get aggressive on him first because we know for a fact that he is either, he's starting to get that nice eco boom where he just has a sizable army. Of course, I'm also using, there we go, we're going to get a massive attack here. Got to start doing some serious damage. Of course, you should only use this leader power whenever you are pushing a main base. Only use it to break a base. I've seen so many people call this in the close air support in the middle of the map, and you know they've just lost their close air support pelicans. It's just absolutely depressing, something I just hate to see. So of course, it also actually happened in the BtC 1v1 Open. Go ahead and check out the Take Some Notes gameplay against RTS Yodovids, I believe it was. It's just absolutely ridiculous how he essentially had the opportunity, had a great army and everything, and then he called in close air support in the middle of a map, and it cost him a game. Spoiler alert. So make sure that you check that one out and see what exactly he did wrong. It's a prime example. You should only use close air support to defend or break a base. It's pretty easy science. Once again, the double air pads really pulling themselves to, or I'm sorry, paying themselves off here, as I'm able to get massive amount of Nightingales. I also like to do this, guys. If you ever have a third base, you have the ability to get a third base in a game. I always like to throw down double armory if you have like an amazing power eco. That just makes it so you can get all of your upgrades very quickly, and then you don't have to worry about it anymore. I did just get the cutter drop there. This is the best thing about snipers here. Check it out. I got shot by those Kodiaks, and then I immediately cloaked, meaning that I should at least be able to break that power node out of their control with that cutter raid as well. It's definitely a nice little combination. Getting canister shell as well. The only thing I wish I had by now is actually reinforcements too, just to get a little bit bigger army, because 100 supplies or 100 population is most certainly going to assist me with all of this crazy Scorpion Vulture combination pump where I have these single units that cost millions of population essentially. So right now we're just kind of preparing ourselves for the long game, but that's something I wish I could critique. Or that I would critique, sorry, if I were to just kind of go back in time. So as you can tell, also the reason why I use close air support there is because by the time that Blue would push back to our side of the map, I might be able to have it to defend as well. That's why I used it so willingly, and we also did break Blue's base. We took it down, so Blue has been forced back into one base as long as he doesn't have that base on our side of the map, and we should be okay. This is a great push here from the Blue team because I did completely leave Ryan's Kodiaks totally unattended. They're just going to get dropped one by one. All it takes is about 5 Cyclops and a couple Sentinels, and they could kill that entire Kodiak army. Lucky for Ryan, he does have a second sect of his army separated on the other side of the map to do some serious damage. I'm going to bring my Warthogs just because of the most mobile units to try to save at least a couple of these Kodiaks. Applying a little bit of damage now and again to these Sentinels will at least cause them to back off, giving the Kodiaks free reign on the enemy units that are trying to supply. But Ryan here, being the multitasking god that he is actually attacking Blue's expansion at the same time and losing all these Kodiaks while I'm trying to defend. And I'm slowly moving my army across the map as best I can to kind of support him and hopefully take down the enemy base. Finally getting reinforcements too and advanced logistics at the same time. That's just how we roll here at Breaking the Clutch. Doing a lot of damage here. This Consano going to try to take him down. We are essentially going to, if we break this expansion here for Light Blue, we're going to take home the game with ease. All we're going to have to do is break that Kodiak line from Blue. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Look at that. What is that? 4 Kodiaks within range of that power node right there. My Vultures are getting angry that he is within range and they're trying to pop off a couple shots. Vultures are definitely my favorite UNSC unit right now. They're so phenomenal. Even though their Phoenix Missile was nerfed, I still feel like Phoenix Missile is one of the best leader powers in any Halo Wars unit ever. I absolutely love using them in game and just wrecking havoc upon bases, upon units, armies, whatever. Just love to see it. Denial here did actually opt in for a couple siege turrets, but of course with Ryan's ice cream truck barely hanging on there, one shot might actually lose the ice cream truck if he's not careful. But of course, as long as he keeps that there, the base will just constantly keep, it will have that frozen aura on it, and will stop production every now and again, which is just very annoying as a player on the other team. Of course, my Vultures from a distance here are most certainly about to get in range. I did fire off a couple Phoenix missiles, but of course I have all these Nightingales to support Ryan's armies. Looks like the ice cream truck did go down for Ryan, but he is still paying attention here. A couple of my Wolverines are now pulling in as well to kind of just kind of give that extra support. Even 3 Wolverines here from Blue is definitely a good choice, but my Vultures, as long as I micro them properly, we should be able to just kind of intercept the Wolverines and take them down. Of course, I also do drop a, look at that nice little missile strike here, will at least catch one of those Wolverines and kill it, get the other one about half shot. which isn't bad. And of course, this entire time that Blue's trying to defend his teammate's base, Ryan has been officially and successfully defending. Oh my god, I just noticed that I have a supply pad on my main base that has not been upgraded. Oh my god, that is so cringy. I hate seeing that. Of course, pulling up now with all these units, I'm just going to start smashing the Y button across the board with all of my units to try to take out an enemy base. Canister shell does drop the enemy base as quickly as possible. Canister shell on heroes too. Man, look at that. Was there a Kasana there? I don't even notice. It's just gone. I don't even know what just happened. Of course, there we are once again trying to get into reinforcements 3. It's going to be extremely helpful. Looks also like because of a couple scouting units, we did notice that Dark Blue does have his second base back. That means that Uncut and I are in a position where we just need to push right up a ramp, look at Light Blue's base, say hold the pistol to his head, and say your last words, because this is the only chance we're going to have at just wrapping up the game. I shouldn't say the only chance, but this is the first chance we have here at completely just wrapping up the game with our 2 armies. Once again, a little split up. Ryan is setting up all his Kodiaks. I need to be there. Okay, I noticed that too. You could tell, like, just by the action and movement of my cursor, I was just like frantically like, oh shit, like trying to get over there with all my armies. So as soon as I'm able to give that support to Ryan, I'm also going to fly my Vultures onto Light Blue's base in an onslaught that most likely cannot be stopped, meaning that we should have this game. I mean, there's just nothing they can do at this point. Ryan and I have had great eco and unit army control. Composition has been phenomenal this entire game. We have been nothing but annoying and a nuisance for these 2 blue players. It feels good to do a commentary again. I want to apologize, guys. A couple things I want to say. A lot of you guys have been putting in the build order guide videos, asking me questions saying, hey Slick, why do you always play against AIs? My biggest reason for that is because, oh my god, look at all these gigantic cryo drops from Serena. Well, hang on, actually, we're just going to stop. The rant's not going to happen yet. I need to get close to my army. I just want to just swarm. I want to absolutely swarm these Kodiaks. I'm going to drop in my close air support, drop in my Cyclops the best I can. And we're just going to drop all these stupid Kodiaks. They've just been nothing but annoying this entire game. Oh, there comes the big drop there from Ryan, doing a serious amount of damage. Looks like we also got some Condors coming from the back as well. Anyway, back to what I was saying. A couple of you guys have been commenting on the videos, letting me know with build order guides. You're wondering why I play against AIs for the build order guide videos. I understand that you guys want to see them used in game, and I most certainly do upload them with gameplays following up after your build order guides. My biggest reason being is that if I do an actual build order guide in a live game or during a game, then what has to happen is I have to show you the other things that I improvise that may not be the same every single game. What I really like to do with those build order guides is show you the core components and the core setups of the builds, so that way you kind of understand how it works. And then in a real game, you're going to have to tinker with a little bit, make some changes in order to make it, say, a more effective, say, strategy. Sometimes just in a certain scenario, you always have to do something different. So that's why I mainly do it against those AIs, even though I don't do them against legendary AIs. Sometimes I do normal, sometimes I do heroic. It's not because the builds suck. It's not because I am afraid to prove it to you guys or anything like that. It's simply because I want to show you the core fundamentals so you can use them. You can see exactly what I do and then incorporate your own builds shortly after that, and then use them in games and then learn on your own. So, and then I always upload the games after. Just like this, you saw the infantry opener, and then I go into some crazy other play with cutter after. I go into infantry opener, and that is essentially how it is done. So here we go, guys. Ryan and I have just dropped Light Blue's main base. That is looking good for us. We even killed a Condor in that mix as well, man. Phoenix missiles, they are the anti-Condor. All it takes is 3 Vultures, and they will drop a Condor fairly quickly. So it's just something phenomenal I love about Vultures. Anyway, guys, I think I'm going to let the rest of this game play out because there's not much Blue can do. All we have to do is get together and push all of our units. Maybe if I don't lose that damn Scorpion tank. And that will essentially be the game. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. This has been Slick from Breaking the Clutch. Let me know in the comment section below. Are you happy that I'm doing commentaries again? Also, guys, I want to let you know that if you would ever send me download links to awesome games that you had, I don't care if you're Copper League, I don't care if you're a champion, I don't care what you are. If you have some awesome games you'd like to share with us here at BTC, make sure you send us a link to a download. Oh my god, I picked all 4 of those damn wolves with that. All you have to do is send us a download link to your favorite gameplay that you want us to commentate over, and then we'll make sure to commentate over it. If you want us to credit you in some way, we'll put, say, your if you have a Twitch, if you have a Twitter, if you have a YouTube channel, you let us know. We'll put it down in the comment section below. If we do end up commentating that game and uploading it to the channel, we'll obviously let you know. If you're wondering how to send it to me, I prefer Twitter DMs or Discord DMs as well. Both of those are great options. You can also send these gameplay links to any of the Discord moderators or admins, and they will most certainly punch them through to me. So thank you guys so much. This has been Slick from Breaking the Clutch. Enjoy this volley of Phoenix missiles to end this video. Thank you, guys.
Leader power ready. forces nearby. Say the word.
All units. Fire base constructed. Leader power ready.
Wolverine, reporting for duty.
We've reduced an enemy structure to rubble. All units.
And we'll see you guys next time.
All units.
Affirmative.
We've taken out an enemy structure. Our allies are attacking the enemy base. We've destroyed an enemy structure. All units. You honored those we lost today with your actions. I'm proud of all of you.